Badass Reborn.
Good evening, hello and welcome. You're with the news today. This is your primetime destination. News, newsmakers, talking points. The big talking point, is the BJP now out to finish Rahul Gandhi politically? Will 2024 still be a Rahul versus Modi battle as some suggest? Also, we'll have an exclusive. Javed Akhtar is among my special guests tonight. He will be speaking to us on the contentious Uniform Civil Code. All that and more, but first, as always, it's time for the 9 headlines at 9 Friday night. No relief for Rahul Gandhi. The Congress leader remains disqualified as an MP after a Gujarat High Court refuses to stay his conviction in the Modi surname defamation case. CBI makes its first arrests in the Balasore train tragedy probe. 3 railway employees arrested. Sources claim accused knew their action could cause an accident. Enforcement watchdog attaches assets of Manish Sisodia, his wife, and other excise policy scam accused. Assets of the former Delhi Deputy Chief Minister worth over 52 crore rupees are attached. Prime Minister Modi hits the ground running in poll-bound Chhattisgarh. Mocks opposition's guarantees, says BJP guarantees a crackdown on corruption instead. BJP forms new teams for 4 assembly polls. Prahlad Joshi given charge of Rajasthan, Bhupendra Yadav, Madhya Pradesh, OP Mathur, Chhattisgarh, Prakash Javadekar, Telangana. Delhi court takes cognizance of sexual harassment case against the BJP MP Brij Bhushan, summons the wrestling body chief on 18th of July. Divisions surface within Muslim community leaders over the One Nation, One Law. Pasmanda Muslim community leaders extend support. All India Muslim Personal Law Board earlier had tabled objections. It's not just tomato. Rice prices are now slowly rising to new highs. Global prices already at 11-year high after centre's MSP hike. Delay in monsoon rains could deepen the pain. And after launch of Twitter alternative threads, Elon Musk threatens to sue Meta, accuses the social media giant of unlawful misappropriation of Twitter's trade secrets. But our top story tonight. Rahul Gandhi, the Congress leader, has suffered yet another setback in his attempt to become a member of parliament once again. Today, the Gujarat High Court dismissed his plea, seeking a stay on his conviction in a criminal defamation case. Remember, Rahul Gandhi now has an option to approach the Supreme Court. Till the time he can get a stay on conviction, Rahul Gandhi is barred from contesting any election and remains disqualified as an MP. Tonight's top story is Rahul Gandhi's tryst with the courts.
एक छोटा सा सवाल, इन सब के नाम, इन सब चोरों के नाम मोदी 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 कैसे हैं? नीरव मोदी, ललित मोदी, नरेंद्र मोदी, और अभी थोड़ा ढूंढेंगे तो और बहुत सारे मोदी निकलेंगे.
This remark made at an election rally in Karnataka ahead of 2019 Lok Sabha elections haunts Rahul Gandhi. The Gujarat High Court on Friday dismissed the Congress leader's plea for stay on his conviction and 2-year jail term for defaming the Modi community. A stay would have reversed his disqualification as an MP. The single-judge bench of Justice Hemant Prachak that delivered a 125-page judgment was scathing in nature. The court ruled that like Patels and Jains, Modis are also a community and a surname. The court held Modi community is well-defined, identifiable and suable class of people. The judge said a stay of conviction is not a rule, but an exception to be resorted to in rare cases. The court cited other cases filed against Rahul Gandhi and mentioned the case by V. Savarkar's grandson for alleged defamatory statements against the revolutionary. The judge said the offence committed falls in the category of moral turpitude and added that representatives of people should be men of clear antecedents. The court said that the need of the hour is to have purity in politics. Unhappy with the High Court's verdict, Congress workers staged protest in Delhi, Patna and Chennai. The Congress says it will fight the battle both politically and legally.
If you think free, speak free, act free, you will be visited with the worst possible criminal, civil and other consequences. We have no doubt that this intersection of arrogance and infallibility shown by the government of the day and the ruling party of the day will be dealt with properly in the Supreme Court.
The BJP welcomed the Gujarat High Court verdict.
एक महान देशभक्त वीर सावरकर जिसने 11 साल अंडमान में गुजारे, उसके बारे में कितनी नफरत है उनके दिल में, ये समझिए आप। सावरकर के पोते ने भी एक केस किया है, वीर सावरकर को उन्होंने विदेश में भी अपमानित किया। तो अपमानित करना, बेइज्जत करना, एब्यूज करना राहुल गांधी की फितरत है।
Now Rahul Gandhi can move the Supreme Court seeking a stay on his conviction and jail sentence. Unless he gets relief from the top court, the Congress leader won't be able to fight the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. Bureau Report, India Today.
And joining me now is one of our newsmakers, Abhishek Manu Singhvi, three-time senior MP of the Congress, CWC member, chair of the Parliamentary Standing Committee on various issues, senior advocate Supreme Court, and also someone who's been advising Rahul Gandhi. Well, Dr. Singhvi, you know, it appears at the moment that Rahul Gandhi has his back to the wall. You went to the lower courts, you went to the High Court, you haven't got a stay on the conviction. Now is the Supreme Court your last hope?
Rajdeep, by definition, Supreme Court is always the last hope. Let me tell you that, yes, we are going to go to the Supreme Court. But let me add that this is clearly on the face of it, according to me, and I, of course, may be wrong. I don't want to overstate things. I'm sure the Supreme Court would be interfering because this is an unsustainable and erroneous judgment. And when you ask me or give me time, I'll give you just not legalistically, but just for broad reasons why it is obviously an unsustainable judgment.
No, you're saying it's an unsustainable judgment, but let me tell you what the judge said. The Gujarat High Court judge said the need of the hour is to have purity in politics, says representatives of people should be men with clear antecedents, and in such cases, relief is the exception, not the rule. Rahul Gandhi had argued that he was suffering because he was losing out as an MP. The judge said, not good enough. You are effectively a serial offender, that there are 8 to 10 defamation cases against you.
Now, can I give you just some bullets,
Yes.
which have not been successful earlier, but let me tell you how the very same points you mentioned have a totally different perspective. Number one, the judge, the learned judge, in a particular para, in the attempt to make it sound very, very serious, comes to a conclusion, and you're not interested, the para number is 45, that this is moral turpitude. What little knowledge of law anybody has, there is no judgment, nothing in hundreds of years of jurisprudence which has equated criminal or civil defamation remotely to moral turpitude. Moral turpitude is a term of art which is limited to issues like rape, kidnapping, or other forms of immorality. I have yet to find a legislature awarding in the statute 2 years maximum punishment for a serious issue of moral turpitude. That's point one. Clear error. And the judge is colored by the fact that he pains in repeated paragraphs to show as if this is a death sentence offense, a murder offense. The second point is that in the previous paragraph, he uses the word serious in a manner as to make it sound like a rarest of rare situation, as if it's a death penalty offense. Do you know, Rajdeep, that to the best of my knowledge, there has never, and I repeat, never in the history of defamation been a case of the maximum imposition of 2 years punishment at all in the actual imposition process. But more interestingly, the legislature must be pretty foolish to consider it so serious that they legislated a maximum punishment of 2 years, which incidentally never awarded. And that is the definition of seriousness. And one more thing. The persons who are named in 1.5 sentences by Rahul Gandhi in a 3.5 page speech at Kolar are Mr. Narendra Modi, Mr. Nirav Modi, and one more Modi. None of them have sued. None of them have attempted to show damage or loss. Is it to be believed that a community which is amorphous and undefined, Modi, by the way, it's not one single community. There are Modis, we have given evidence, which are no connection with each other. None. Second, is it possible to believe, Rajdeep, to common sense, forget that you're not a lawyer, etc., that any one of those 10, 13 crore people, Modi, which is an undefined, non-amorphous, non-connected community, one Modi need not be another Modi's connection, can sustain and have locus to sustain a criminal complaint without showing any personal loss or damage when the persons who are named specifically choose not to file anything? And last but not the least, these 10 cases you mentioned, the serial offender phrase you mentioned, Rajdeep, do you know that every case he's an accused? He is not a convict, except this one. And each of those 9 or 10 cases referred to in the judgment repeatedly as if it's a serial offender. He's not a serial offender because he's only an accused. He's not a convict. Each of those are filed by BJP office bearers.
Dr. Singhvi, you're making a very
BJP office bearer.
You're making very persuasive arguments, particularly when you say that in the history of criminal defamation in this country, you've never had a 2-year conviction. Are you suggesting, therefore, that the judges do not know this? All the facts that you're providing before us, the judges do not know, but this is now your second or third attempt. First, of course, the original conviction, and then you've had 2 appeals, Session Court, High Courts. They've been turned down. So what explains it? If you claim you have such a strong case, then clearly...
I appear in the High Court only. I don't know about the lower court.
But the High Court itself.
Delightful sentence to meet your point, Rajdeep, said by the Supreme Court in many cases. An error once perpetuated once, twice or thrice needs even more correction than a single error. So don't be taken in by the thrice. An error is an error. I have given you grounds. I am talking objective. Take, for example, after 66 days, the learned judge delivers judgment today. At 10:30, when the judgment is to be delivered, he says it will come at 2:30 or 3. That's all right. But the only point he mentions in the morning is that there is the additional ground of Veer Savarkar. Did you know, Rajdeep, that the Veer Savarkar point was not pleaded in the reply? It was on the last day when the arguments were concluding that across the bar, a cutting was handed across on Veer Savarkar. But most importantly, did you...
Okay, we align with Abhishek.
After the conviction in this case, how is it relevant? How can a judge take account of an extraneous circumstance? And the answer to your question is if you lose 3 times, it means you are wrong, is wrong. Judges can be grievously wrong. I have a right to call the judgment grievously wrong, including all the earlier judgments. And that is why the apex corrective is the Supreme Court.
No, one final word, because you're calling the judgment grievously wrong. Your colleague, Mr. Chidambaram, has gone a step further. He seems to be suggesting, and I quote what Mr. Chidambaram tweeted here, the whole purpose of this defamation case was against Mr. Gandhi, was to disqualify him from Parliament. Everything that followed is an attempt to justify the disqualification. Are you saying that the judges are also now doing what the BJP wants them to do? Is that the charge that he seems to be insinuating?
Look, insinuations, innuendos, etc., interpretations, you have to ask Mr. Chidambaram. I don't think he means that. Certainly, I have not said so anywhere. I've had a long 40 press conference today. My point is simple. Have you ever heard of a consequent 8-year disqualification with a maximum sentence of 2 years for a political campaign by BJP office bearers against Mr. Rahul Gandhi, where the named people choose not to sue? Does it sound orchestrated across the board? One BJP chap in Gujarat, one in Jharkhand, one in a third place. And all the 9 cases, other cases, are cases by BJP office bearers. This huge, large Modi community is so enraged and so outraged that only 3 BJP office bearers choose to file.
Okay. Isharo mein, you've said enough, Dr. Singhvi. We'll leave it there. I do not want to be sued for contempt. But let's leave it there and we'll wait to see how soon you go to the Supreme Court. As early as next week? Are you going to the Supreme Court next week itself?
Well, it'll be very soon, likely. Very soon.
Okay.
Very, very soon.
Okay, let's leave it there. Dr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, appreciate your joining us here at the top of the news today. Let's As Rahul Gandhi is battling it out in the courts to get a stay on his conviction, which will allow him to contest the next elections, Prime Minister Modi has already hit the ground running. He was today in Chhattisgarh, one of the election-bound states, where he sounded his party's bugle. His target, predictably, the Congress party. Listen in.
जिसने गलत किया है वो बचेगा नहीं। और ये कहने की हिम्मत मैं इसलिए रख रहा हूं क्योंकि मेरे पास जो कुछ भी है वो आपका दिया हुआ है, वो देश का दिया हुआ है। ये लोग मेरे पीछे पड़ेंगे, मेरी कब्र खोदने की धमकी दे देंगे, मेरे खिलाफ साजिशें रचेंगे, लेकिन उन्हें पता नहीं है जो डर जाए वो मोदी नहीं हो सकता। कोल माफिया, सैंड माफिया, लैंड माफिया, न जाने कैसे कैसे माफिया यहां फल फूल रहे हैं। यहां सूबे के मुखिया से लेकर तमाम मंत्रियों और अधिकारियों तक पता नहीं कौन कितने लोग हैं जिन पर घोटाले के गंभीर से गंभीर आरोप लगते रहे। आज छत्तीसगढ़ सरकार कांग्रेस के करप्शन और कुशासन का मॉडल बन चुकी है।
Okay, let's then raise the big questions tonight. Is Rahul Gandhi's political future in the balance? Is injustice being done to Rahul Gandhi as the Congress claims? Is the BJP out to finish Rahul Gandhi politically ahead of the 2024 elections? Will 2024 still be a Modi versus Rahul battle? Will Prime Minister Modi's corruption charges on the opposition stick anymore? Some of the questions that we will raise tonight, joined by Supriya Srinath, the Congress's chief media cell, social media head, Syed Zafar Islam, BJP spokesperson, former MP, and Sanjay Kumar, co-director, Lokniti, CSTS, and cephalogist. Thanks all very much for joining us. Supriya Srinath, to you first, because it's the Congress today which finds itself now with its leadership facing a struggle to get its political career back on track. How do you see it? Is Rahul Gandhi going to play victim card now, go to the people and say, look, even if I don't contest elections, I will continue with my Bharat Jodo Yatras, go to Manipur one day, some other part of the country next. Is that the role now that he perforce will play?
I mean, this has been going on for a few months now. Has Rahul Gandhi once played the victim card? Has Rahul Gandhi once said that, you know, I'm going to put it all behind and please give me my membership back? He vacated his house much before he needed to. He's been fighting this government, looking them in the face and asking them questions that perhaps nobody else in the opposition has the gumption to. And he's holding this government accountable for its flaws and its failures. He's going to Manipur, where the Prime Minister has not even visited or named the state. What are we talking about? I mean, Rahul Gandhi is made of a different metal which the BJP doesn't understand. The problem with the BJP is it has gotten so used to intimidating people across the political spectrum that they think they can do it to everybody. You could have done it to a lot of people, but not to Rahul Gandhi. Rahul Gandhi looks you in the eye, asks the tough questions, and the reality is, like my senior colleague Dr. Singhvi was saying here, or like Mr. Chidambaram has said, in the last 162 years of Indian Penal Code's existence, there has never ever been a punishment of 2 years for a defamation case.
Are you saying that the Gujarat courts have been fixed? Let me give you a... No, are you saying... No, 1 minute. Are you saying the Gujarat courts have been fixed?
The government... I will say what I'm saying without you putting any words in my mouth or making any insinuations. What I am saying is this was a fixed match. The government went shopping for a case. They wanted some case where Rahul Gandhi could be sentenced for 2 years. This is unprecedented. They found this case. The petitioner himself went and withdrew his stay application after Mr. Gandhi had made that famous speech about Adani and Modi in Parliament, and that's how Rahul Gandhi was disqualified. But guess what? A disqualified MP scares the living daylights out of Mr. Modi to an extent that he has to publicly say he is not scared. He is damn scared of Manipur. He is scared of high prices. He is scared of tomatoes at 160. He is scared of Adani. He is scared of unemployment. And that's exactly what Rahul Gandhi wants to do. He wants to fight the people's battle, and the people of this country will give him justice. I have utmost faith in that.
Those are very strong words. Syed Zafar Islam respond. The Congress says Rahul Gandhi is not playing the victim card. He's simply taking the battle to the BJP, and the BJP wants to fix Rahul Gandhi at all costs ahead of 2024.
First of all, let me give you a very candid answer. As far as Rahul Gandhi is concerned, he is neither a threat to Bharatiya Janata Party, for that matter, to our government, or for that matter, to anybody who is connected with NDA. He is an identity which is actually trying to prove something away from the reality. Fact that he has abused a community, a section of the society, and that case has been taken up by one of the member of the community, and something which has been examined.
Sir, a lot of the defamation cases against Rahul Gandhi have been taken by leaders associated with the BJP or workers associated with the BJP. Is there an organized campaign now? Mr. Chidambaram says the BJP is out to ensure that Rahul Gandhi cannot come back to Parliament.
Well, Rajdeep, if Bharatiya Janata Party, if somebody is in Bharatiya Janata Party, doesn't mean that he cannot take up issue which is important for the community, society, or the section of the society he belongs to. It is something, responsibility is just starting the responsibility as a leader.
No, but in 160 years, there hasn't been a single criminal defamation case that led to 2 years imprisonment. The insinuation from the Congress side seems to be that all of this is fixed. The entire system is rigged, fixed to fix Rahul Gandhi.
You asked this, you posed this question to Supriya. She didn't reply to that it has been fixed. And if she has to, if the Congress spokesperson has to say, they must say and approach the court that why it has been fixed. Because the fact that the court's observation is important, and that is relevant what we are discussing. The court said that he is a serial offender. And that is something which everyone need to take cognizance, that he is a serial offender. He has not only once committed this mistake, but he has been committing this mistake time and again, abusing section of the society, different section of the society time and again. So it is something which their court has acknowledged, and accordingly that they have fixed the punishment. It is the responsibility of the court, not the responsibility of the Bharatiya Janata Party or for our government to pronounce a judgment. It is the court, and if they are making this statement, they need to respond to the court, and they must approach the Supreme Court. We have no problem. As I said, Rahul Gandhi is not a threat.
Okay, you made that point.
For that matter, our party, we see him as a very naive politician.
Right. Okay, you made the point.
We see him as somebody somebody who cannot lead his own party, his own leadership, his own people in the party. Then how come he can lead our party? We are not only concerned about whether he is a member of the parliament or he doesn't become a member of parliament. The fact that he had abused, he has hurt the sentiments of a community, section of the society, they have taken up the case with the judiciary, and the judgment and the punishment has been pronounced by the court, honorable court.
Okay, so you're saying if the Congress wants, you made the point. If the Congress wants to take the fight, please fight it in the court. Supriya Srined, you're getting very anxious. Yes, respond.
I have a very small point to make, and it actually exposes the ridiculous arguments that the BJP keeps making day in and day out. Rahul Gandhi is a naive politician. He is politically insignificant for them. But every time Rahul Gandhi makes a statement, puts out a 280-word tweet, the living daylights of the BJP is scared. Their top guns come blazing out. Their ministers, some of them are only employed to troll Rahul Gandhi. Some of their relevance is because they can call Rahul Gandhi names. The entire government gets rattled each time Rahul Gandhi makes a statement on policy or politics or holds the government accountable. If he's so insignificant, why do you need to waste your resources? Why do all of you need to come crying and making press conferences and crying foul each time? The reality is that he's one politician across the political spectrum who holds you responsible for what you're responsible for, which is to bring the country, its progress, its prosperity, and the fate of its people to a grinding
Let
halt.
me respond.
And one more thing I want to say in 10 seconds. This is not about Rahul Gandhi. This is not about this. This is about the many swindlers who swindled money from this country and fled overseas. Nirav Modi, Mehul Choksi, Vijay Mallya, Sandresas. This government has now been in power for 9 years. You have not been able to bring back not one defaulter who swindled money and fled this country from under your nose. Answer questions on that. And that's the root cause of this. The root cause of this is that Rahul Gandhi is not scared of your agencies. He is not scared of intimidation, and that rattles you.
Okay. Zafar Islam, a quick response to what you just heard.
She is talking about Rahul Gandhi, giving him a lot of credit for raising issues. We are not overly concerned if you put us in the dock, because we are in the government. If you put us in the dock, we are perfectly fine, because that's the responsibility of a government to respond to any question being raised by another opposition leader. But can she tell to the crowd or the people who are watching this program that Rahul Gandhi his name can be proposed to the opposition leaders as a leader of the entire opposition unity, what they are talking about? If he's so big in terms of raising issues, and what Supriya is talking about, that he is the one who's championing all the issues which is being raised by the opposition.
You're asking a question which I'm just taking out of the politicians to Professor Sanjay Kumar. Just a minute. Professor Sanjay Kumar, interesting. You've got the BJP saying if the Congress believes that Rahul Gandhi is the only leader who's taking on the BJP or raising these issues, why don't you make him a leader of the Mahagathbandhan that still is evolving, not yet formed? But what I want to understand from you, wearing your psephologist hat, we've seen 2014 and 19, the BJP successfully made them, particularly 19, into a presidential election, Modi versus who? Do you see Rahul Gandhi's role in 2024 being different? And if it is different, how will it play out in terms of the political optics? Do you believe that if he is not projected as a prime minister candidate, it is an advantage to the opposition? If he is not contesting the elections because he is disqualified, it's an advantage to the opposition that they then don't have to make this election Modi versus Rahul like 2019.
I think the biggest advantage opposition or the Congress can have over Prime Minister Modi or BJP would be in a situation when Rahul Gandhi is disqualified, he cannot contest 2024 election, because if that is the situation, first, BJP will not be able to, fire its gun all the time against Rahul Gandhi. Also, there would be a sympathy, because a lot of people would believe that this is too harsh a judgment on Rahul Gandhi. So I think that's going to be the best scenario for opposition and best scenario for the Congress. But suppose another scenario, Rahul Gandhi gets relief, he can contest election, and Congress decides or the opposition decides not to project him as the prime ministerial candidate. So that is going to be the second best scenario for opposition and the Congress. Don't project anyone as the face against Prime Minister Modi. Then, BJP would keep asking this question, who is going to be the face? But at least they won't be able to target one person that this is the face and compare Modi with the person who would be projected as the prime ministerial candidate. So that's going to be the second best scenario for Congress and the opposition. I think the worst scenario for the opposition is going to be if they agree on somebody's name, if they come out with one face who could be posed as a challenger to Modi. Because once you start doing that and you turn the election into a presidential mode, that's going to be very, very difficult for opposition, because in one-to-one match, Modi would be rated far superior compared to any other leader by the common citizen of this country. So these are the three scenarios in which I can see how opposition and Congress are going to perform in 2024 elections.
Very interesting from you, Sanjay Kumar, which I come to Supriya Shine, that for all the noise that the Congress is making, saying that the courts, in a way, without saying it directly, you're indirectly hinting that a fixed match is out there. What is Rahul Gandhi's role? Is it simply now not to take up any MP-ship, not to contest elections, but instead hit the road and take on the BJP. Is that the role that the Congress prefers? You're not saying it openly yet. The Congress is still not saying whether Rahul Gandhi will be their face for 2024, but will his role therefore be very different this time compared to what it was in 2019, given the fact that he's facing these court battles?
Do you understand the gross injustice and unfairness of what has happened for you to even pose this question to me? Do you even understand the very flawed judgment that has first come in from the lower court and upheld by the Gujarat High Court? And I want to put my neck out there and say, this was expected. This was along expected lines. Do you understand the unfairness of it all? I mean, here is a man who's willing to fight the fight that this country needs right now. Here is a man, the Prime Minister does not speak about money for 2 months. He goes to Manipur, he meets people from all communities, he tells them and asks them to give peace a chance. That's the role somebody high up in the government should also be doing. Why are they not doing it? Here is someone who's telling Indians to shun hatred and talk about love. He's talking about nafrat ke bazaar mein mohabbat ki dukaan. Here is someone who's being taken in by Indians as their only hope. Do you understand the gross unfairness of the question that you posed to me?
No, there's nothing unfair. I am saying is Rahul Gandhi. No, ma'am, I am saying, I have discussed the court judgment. I am saying is Rahul Gandhi's role, as Sanjay Kumar pointed out, possibly the best case scenario. Don't project him as your leader, your Prime Minister. Project him instead, as it appears, some suggest that Rahul Gandhi is someone who's hitting the streets and taking on the system as an anti-establishment hero in a way.
He's an Indian politician. He's not an anti-establishment hero. He's somebody who deeply believes in India, who deeply loves Indians and will fight against injustice that's meted out to them. You want to call him a hero, you want to call him a political leader, you want to call him a Jananayak, you can call him by any name. But Rahul Gandhi is the inspiration for the fight that all of us put in every day, and you can't deny that. So, and I think it has to be left to the Congress party what and how do we want to project our leadership. But the reality is that Rahul Gandhi is somebody who brings this government down on its knees each time he makes a statement. And that's the reality the BJP can't walk away from. The Prime Minister and this government looks increasingly rattled and baffled because they have questions to answer after 9 years of being in government, questions that they have no answers to.
Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Supriya Srinath on a bit of a roll. Syed Zafar Islam.
Can I just respond?
I will give you 20 seconds to respond. Go ahead.
See, in very shortly, that Mohabbat ki dukaan mein, time and again she is mentioning about Mohabbat ki dukaan, there is no grahak. And if I really understand the way Mr. Sanjay Kumar has analyzed it and summarized, if I have to summarize it, it's very clearly
don't intervene,
empty vessels. Empty vessels.
They will always be.
Please do not disturb.
No, that's not fair. No heckling. No heckling, ma'am.
You will not understand that.
I heard you. Empty vessels always makes noise, and that is what you are doing.
Okay,
that is
vessels.
What Mr. Sanjay Kumar summarized it, and nothing will happen because Prime Minister has a lot of admiration, and Rahul Gandhi, despite making all these allegations, which is absolutely away from reality, will not do anything to his popularity.
Okay, I'm going to leave it there. I hope that we can have similar discussions in the future also on that issue of Manipur, which remains, of course, an issue which has not been, where there is silence in a way. But I appreciate my guest joining us on the Rahul Gandhi question. Let's turn from the Rahul Gandhi question to the Uniform Civil Code question. Former Vice President Venkaiah Naidu joined the debate today on the Uniform Civil Code. Days after the current Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar also spoke out in support of a UCC, Venkaiah Naidu wrote an article on the need for one civil law in the country. Mr. Naidu has stressed the importance, he says, of the UCC in ensuring gender equality and eradicating prevailing social evils. The UCC has been met by different groups, either opposing or supporting it, from the All India Muslim Personal Law Board, which is opposing it, to Sikh groups, Northeast groups, who are also opposing it. But you've also got support coming in from Pasmanda groups, Pasmanda Muslim groups and others who are saying it's time to discuss these issues. It's time now to head then to my special guest who I spoke to a short while ago, Javed Akhtar, wants to dive into the UCC debate. Listen in. Let me understand from you at the very outset. Where do you stand on the idea? We'll come to specifics in a moment, but the broad idea of whether India should have a uniform civil code.
Well, in principle, I'll say yes, why not? But you see, there are a lot of practical difficulties. I mean, India is a world in itself. It's not like any average European country where there is one language, one religion, one race, one tradition. India has such a variety and such a range of cultures, subcultures, traditions, customs, that it becomes very difficult to imagine that how we can achieve that. And if we can, wonderful, that's the best thing to happen. But you know, what is happening nowadays is rather strange. You know, there's a proverb in my language, "Soot na kapas kori se lattam latta." So, na soot hai, na kapas hai, and you are fighting with the bunkar, with the weaver. So, abhi kya hai? The first thing which is required to, I think, assuage many fears of different communities or different groups, or to have some people who, like me, would like to support it, have more equipment and argument to defend that, is a draft. In the absence of the draft, I mean, you can only have wild guesses. And that, I think, creates confusions, misunderstandings, and fears. The first thing that should come is a definite draft from the government.
Because, you know, the fact, Javed Bhai, from what you're saying in your opening statements is that you think a uniform civil code, according to you, is desirable, but in a country as plural as India, you're not sure whether it is feasible, as diverse as India. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Okay, then let's then come one by one.
But then we should not decide that it's not feasible till we don't see the draft.
Okay, so you're saying
there should be a draft. I mean, there are experts who will make the draft. So let's see what they are suggesting.
Okay, so you're saying that the way forward is first at least provide us a draft so that we can debate on a draft, not in the air.
That's true.
But now look at a group with which you've had a sort of long, rather troubled association in terms of the fact you've been a critic of it, the All India Muslim Personal Law Board. Now, the All India Muslim Personal Law Board has already asked Muslims to object to the Uniform Civil Code. They have said the fundamental religious book of Muslims, being the Holy Quran, in the form of religious texts, which are matters of Article 25 and 26 of the Constitution, mandates its believers to follow the injunctions as prescribed therein. Muslims in India will not be agreeable to lose their identity, of which there is a space within the constitutional framework. They seem to suggest a uniform civil code will in a way prevent Muslims from their allegiance to, they believe, the Sharia, to the Quran.
I couldn't disagree. I couldn't disagree more. Each and every word is wrong and inaccurate. First of all, this is not Islamic law. It's a law made by Britishers in 1937. And that was the time when there were a lot of Muslim Jagirdars and Muslim Zamindars, and they told all these so-called saviors of Islam that come what may, you are not going to put Islamic law in agricultural property. And because according to Quran, the daughter has share in everything, in every kind of property. And the Jagirdars and Zamindars were not willing to give their agricultural property to their daughters. So, very meekly and obediently, all these mullahs and imams and scholars and ulamas accepted that, which is totally anti-Quran. And it's almost 90 years, more or less 90 years. None of them objected on that. None of them has raised voice that this was wrong. None of them. So many people have come in personal law board, so many people have gone because they died, new people came, but none of them said that they should be removed and the daughter should get property share in everything according to their own Quran. We are not suggesting it, it is their own religion. but they did not do it.
So
Again, look at their regressive attitudes. And they are obstinate, regressive, unreasonable people. Then let's not give them importance. Let's think in a broad spectrum.
No, so are you saying?
Let me complete.
Yeah, please complete.
They were, fighting hammer and tongue. That triple talaq, the instant divorce, should not be removed from Indian
laws.
And the fact is that in most of the Muslim countries, it's a shame for us that even in Pakistan and Bangladesh, the triple talaq is not allowed and was not allowed. But these people were fighting for it and they were saying Islam khatre mein, because, and most of the Muslim countries in the world have banned it. It was not allowed there, but they were fighting for it. And what happened that ultimately government imposed it on them and they just kept quiet. And it would have been wonderful if they had done it themselves, because so many women groups, so many moderate Muslims were insisting since last almost 40 years, if not more, that please change it. So to expect any reasonable attitude from these people will be wastage of time. Let's ignore them. They are not the representative. Who has made them the representative of 20 crore Muslims of India? Have they been elected? They have just made a gang. And they pretend that they are the sole representative of the Muslim community. They are not. So let's not give them too much importance. India is much bigger than them. We have many other issues. There are many other people. We have to look into Naga problems. We have to see tribals. We have to see Hindus themselves.
No, I'll come to that in a moment about the question that Hindus also will have to look at when it comes to UCC. But broadly, what you're saying is that the All India Muslim Personal Law Board does not represent all the Muslims of this country. The All India Muslim Personal Law Board, according to you, is wrongly interpreting the Quran and the Sharia, and the All India Muslim Board is essentially a regressive body that does not want women to get gender equality. Am I correct?
I am not saying they are interpreting wrongly. I'm not a scholar.
Okay.
I'm not a scholar of Islam. But I'm saying that in most of the Muslim countries, this was not allowed when they were fighting for instant divorce. It was not allowed. So have they gone out of the ambit of Islam? If it is so, then please educate me and tell me that all these Muslim countries are no longer Islamic because they have banned instant divorce. I'll believe you because you are the scholars of Islam. I am not. I'm not.
But
so I'm not saying this. But the fact is that as far as the property is concerned, they went against Quran, and till today they don't have the guts because they are not. They are scared of men.
Right. But you see, the reason Javed.
Yeah.
The reason, Javed Akhtar, I started with the All India Muslim Personal Law Board because whether you like it or not, Uniform Civil Code has become, in a way, caught in this Hindu-Muslim binary. Many Hindus seem to believe Uniform Civil Code आएगा तो मुसलमानों को सबक सिखाएंगे वो लोग जो है 2-3 शादियां करते हैं that will all stop. They will also have to follow the laws of the land. That's how it's almost been pushed over the years that a uniform civil code will essentially put Muslims in their place and they will have to follow the laws of rest of India.
Uniform civil code is much, much, much bigger than that. Its ambit is much bigger than just bigamy. Of course, if uniform civil code comes, bigamy will not be allowed in any community. Whether in Hindu community or Muslim community. So far, let me tell you one thing. It is a kind of a pretension that it is not allowed in Hindu. The condition is that you cannot marry, and if you marry, the only person who can report and fight against it legally is the first wife. Have some common sense. If the first wife would be in the position to go to the court or to the police, the man will not dare to marry again. So that is why, and you see that there is a huge, huge number of Hindus who have 2 wives. Huge number, not ordinary. Many.
But you see, it is.
But bigamy is one thing. Bigamy, of course, if our uniform civil code comes, bigamy will have to be stopped. But now let's go to the tribals. Let's go to the Nagas. What we will do? They have customs. customs of centuries. Are you going to tell them, no, your customs are invalid now? It will become a big problem, social issue. Then within Hindu community, there are Bhata and Mitakshara, and there are traditions in South which are totally opposite to the tradition of North. I mean, even in marriage, the best marriage that in South India you can have is a girl marrying her maternal uncle. I mean, it is unimaginable for a Punjabi. The idea will be like what you call incest. So, what will you do? You'll ban the marriage with the niece and the uncle in Tamil Nadu, or you'll allow it in Punjab? What will you do? And look at the second marriages. Now, the highest average of second marriages percentage is in tribals. Now, will you tell them, no, you can't do it? There are certain tribes where the tradition is that all the property goes to the youngest daughter. Now, will you tell them that, no, you can't give this property to the youngest daughter? India is not an ordinary country. We are a world in ourselves. To control that, to bring it under one law of marriage, divorce, and virasat, its inheritance, it's very, very difficult. And you will have to develop a very smart, very sensible, very sensitive draft to assuage everybody's fear. Let's have that draft.
Very interesting views there from Javed Akhtar. You can hear the full interview over the weekend. The interesting point, where is the proposal? We are debating a uniform civil code without even having a draft in place. A chicken and egg situation there. Let's see the draft and then debate it. Let's take a break. When we return, we are coming to our Good News Today story. You're watching the News Today. News without the noise.
Putting people first.
Just look at the queues right across.
About asking the right questions to those in power. Is money power being used to bring down elected governments? Who will be held accountable for ministerial corruption?
It takes no sides.
माँ का दर्द एक दर्द कोई नहीं समझ सकता उस दर्द को.
It reveals. It heals. Angry people came out on the streets. Is this the kind of justice system we want in this country? News is all heart and no hatred.
बिल्किस बानो आज क्या कहना चाहेंगी आप?
हमारे साथ जो हुआ है किसी के साथ भी नहीं होना चाहिए.
Experience the news. With me Rajdeep Sardesai, only on India Today.
Quality today. In Delhi, 280. In Mumbai, 36. In Kolkata, 49. In Bangalore, 49. In Chennai, 72. In Hyderabad, 75.
Okay, it's Friday night. Let's end the show ahead of the weekend with a good news today story, which comes from Lucknow, where an NGO in the UP capital is providing employment opportunities to the differently abled. I leave you with that story in the hope that we build a more inclusive, equal society at all times. Thanks for watching. You stay well, stay safe. Good night, Shubhratri, Jai Hind, Namaskar.
At the age of 6, Maqbool's parents left him at an orphanage in Lucknow. Life was a struggle, but he is trying to make the best of it. Today, the 16-year-old who suffers from cerebral palsy is working at a spice factory and earning his living. Arman, Raju and many others here share a similar story.
पीते हैं, हम अचार पीते हैं, हल्दी पीते हैं और डिब्बे में भरते हैं, पैकिंग करते हैं.
This unit, started by the Drishti Samajik Sanstha 2 years ago, provides employment to physically and mentally challenged people above the age of 14. 20 people are currently working here. From grinding and mixing spices to extracting cold-pressed oil to packaging products, they are trained to do everything.
जो भी बच्चे हैं ये माइल्ड कैटेगरी के बच्चे हैं, लाइक जो अपनी एक्टिविटीज़ ऑफ डेली लिविंग कर लेते हैं और हमने जिन्हें इन चीज़ों के लिए ट्रेन किया है. बेसिकली इनकी डेवलपमेंट के लिए है, फिजिकल प्लस मेंटल और इन्वायरमेंट में साथ में अपने आप को एक बराबर मानने के लिए है. जब हम एक साथ बैठेंगे इन बच्चों को ये नहीं लगेगा लाइक मैं बोल नहीं सकती हूँ, तो ऐसा नहीं है कि मैं जो सामने सुनने बोलने वाला है उसके साथ बैठ नहीं सकती.
The center has employed a special instructor to monitor the progress of the employees.
इन लोग के लिए भी एक जॉब क्रिएट करते हैं कि ये आगे अपने पैरों पे खुद खड़े हो सकें, खुद अर्न कर सकें. तो उसी के अकॉर्डिंग हम लोगों ने ये फैक्ट्री स्टार्ट करी. आप चाहे रॉ मटेरियल की सफाई से लेके पैकिंग तक सभी ये स्पेशल बच्चे ही कर रहे हैं. और प्रोडक्शन उतना ज़्यादा तो नहीं कर पाते हैं, बट कोशिश पूरी करते हैं कि ये लोग खुद मेहनत करके उतनी कोशिश करते हैं कि प्रोडक्शन अपने आप बढ़ा सकें.
Mustard and turmeric for the factory are procured directly from the nearby farmers. While the products are locally sold, the institute is now looking to widen their market. With Shilpi Sen, Bureau Report, India Today.
So how does one log off? Limit yourself to one screen at a time. Spring clean your social media accounts. Use apps to bolster self-control. Don't charge your phone near your bed. Set time boundaries in usage. Use your gadgets thoughtfully. Think about whether you actually need to use your laptop or whether you need to use your phone. Is there any work really, or just using it mindlessly? Do you really need to watch TV, or you'd rather go for a walk or even take a nap, which is actually more relaxing, more refreshing?
If you ask an average person, they'll say, oh, I'm on social media for about 10-15 minutes or maybe a little bit more in there. I'm not typically there. But if they start actually analyzing their time, and there are apps and features available on these gadgets, they then come to realize that I was putting so many hours more.
Prioritizing offline relationships and getting a glimpse of what real life offers brings real joy. Try it.
Weather forecast now. Delhi, maximum 36 and minimum 26 degrees. Mumbai, maximum 30 and minimum 25 degrees. Kolkata, maximum 32 and minimum 27 degrees. Bangalore, maximum 23 and minimum 21 degrees. Chennai, maximum 36 and minimum 27 degrees. Hyderabad, maximum 31 and minimum 22 degrees.
Why does this happen? Let me tell you the science behind it.
For more informative videos like this, keep watching India Today News Mo. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100